Stream. This is the Skyrim Library Part 1. Sure, my voice is coming through. Let's see. I don't think it is. Oh, okay, it is. Right? Okay, it is. Cool. So, in the Skyrim Library series, I will be reading some of the books because in this playthrough, this character is called the, oh, I've got a comment. It's a comment from my other account. I think it's my mother on my account because she didn't change. Anyway, in this series, I will be reading the books. This character is called The Bookkeeper's Journey, which is actually a series I did before, but I haven't since worked on it. But I've been working hard. I've been collecting the books, and I'm currently at 231 books, and there's still a shit ton more I need. So the books we're going to be reading in this episode are Great Harbingers, Kodlak's Journal, Lords of Skyrim, and the Book of the Dragonborn. So let's get started with Great Harbingers. Great Harbingers of the Companions. This history is recorded by Swick the Long-Sighted of the Circle of Jorvaskar in the Third Era. While I am not gifted with a sharp gift of words, I have learned the stories of the companions before me and set to record them that they might not be lost when I am. Hereafter is the list of notable harbingers of the companions, those who led us through the darkness to glories in Sovngarde. Notes on the Harbinger. The companions have never had a true leader since Yskamor. None have been mighty enough to corral the great hearts that beat within Jorvaskar, while others like mages and thieves need the blessings of their hierarchy to know how to dress. We companions are capable of leading our own destinies to glory. The Harbinger advises, resolves disputes, and helps to clarify when questions arise of the nature of honor. In the thousands of years the companions have held at Jorvaskar, there have been harbingers both terrible and brilliant, those known for their arm, those known for their hearts, and those for their minds. Here are listed some of the most gloried harbingers who inspire song and deed. Yskamor, the first harbinger, the first man, the bringer of words, and the one who first bound the companions to honor in that far-off land of long ago. Better people have written of him, so I will not attempt to meet their words. Jeek of the River, captain of the Jorvaskar during the return, discoverer of the Skyforge, founder of Whiterun, and keeper of the original oath of the companions, now lost to time. While other crews sought glory and conquest, his was the first to settle and serve as protector for the less war-gifted in the land as they came behind. Mifril the Withdrawn. Several hundred years after the death of Yskamor, the companions as we now know them were soldiers for hire, little better than mercenaries. Our services could be purchased for the fighting of wars, but the commitment to individual honor meant that often shield brothers would be forced to face each other on the field of battle. The bonds of honor which bind threatened to break, until Mifril, in his wisdom, decreed that we would no longer be party to any war or political conflict of any kind. Because of his steady hand, the companions today are known as impartial arbiters of honor, in addition to their glories on the field of battle. Sirik the Lofty, the first harbinger of to not be of ancestral Atmoran blood. This was around the time that the Nords began to think of themselves as such, and there were great disputes about purity and the legacy of Ysgramor. Surik first came to Jorrvaskr as a servant, but the Red Guard quickly proved his mettle when treated disrespectfully by one of the less honor-bound warriors of the time. Granted the stature of an honorary companion after saving the life of Harbinger Tolvar, the Unmentioned, he became known as the most capable of shield brothers in the Hall, with speed and cunning surpassing any of the old Atmoran stock. His time as Harbinger was short-lived, but it is said that his field of knowledge of blade work continues to pass to every new companion through their training. Hinashir the Outsider, the first elven Harbinger. Like Surik before him, he was initially subject to ridicule when arriving at Jorrvaskr, but this was the time, near the closing of the First Era, when elves were not permitted to be full companions, and few were even allowed to see the inside of the hall. Hinashir was humble in the daylight hours, performing any task asked of him. At night he trained fiercely in the outside yard, allowing himself only minutes of sleep before resuming his servant duties the next day. So he toiled through several harbingers, never resting, never complaining, and always keeping his mind and body sharp. Given his long life, he came to be trusted by the new companions as the one who them learned the ways of honor. When one such pupil had aged into an old man and became Harbinger himself, Hinashir was the one at his deathbed. With all companions assembled, he named Hinashir as his successor, saying even an elf can be born with the heart of a Nord sometimes. There were some number of companions who laid down their weapons that day, but those who remained knew the truth of honor, and it is their legacy we continue to bear. Mac of the Piercing Eyes, a harbinger known for her great beauty, but any who underestimated her on account of it would never make the mistake again. Was said to have once stared down half an opposing army, then slaughtered the remainder single-handedly. Her disappearance in her 8th year as harbinger has never been explained, though many slanderous lies claim to make accountings for it. Colonel Longnose. After the dark periods in the late Second Era, when a string of false and dishonorable harbingers laid claim to Jorrvaskr, it was Colonel Longnose who gathered the true hearts of the companions in the wilds and stormed Jorrvaskr itself, killing the usurpers and returning honor through blood. In the old ways, he began the tradition of trusted advisors called the Circle, after our great Lord Ysgramor's Council of Captains, who would serve as examples to the younger, newer companions. By ensuring that the notions of honor can have an unbroken string of tradition, he steadied the course of the companions and restored our destinies to that of Ysgramor's, pressing ever onwards to Sovngarde. Okay, next we're going to read Kodlak's journal, which honestly hurts my heart because, spoiler alert, he's gone in this playthrough, and I miss him, and I don't know if there's a way to save him, but I need to look that up. In my dream, I see the line of harbingers start with Ysgramor. Each of them ascends to Sovngarde, until we come to Terrafig, who first turned us to the ways of the beast. He tries to enter Sovngarde, but before he can even approach soon, he is set upon by a great wolf, who pulls him into the hunting grounds, where Hircine laughs with welcoming arms. Terrafig seems regretful, but also eager to join Hircine after a lifetime of service as a beast. Then I see every next harbinger turn away from Sovngarde and enter the hunting grounds of their own accord, until it comes to me, and I see great Soon on the misty horizon, beckoning me. It appears I have a choice, and then, at my side, a stranger I had not seen before. As I look into her eyes, we turn to see the same wolf who dragged away Terrafig, and she and I draw weapons. I realize this is only a dream, but a strong enough dream to inspire a man like me to take to writing, so it must be of some import. I've spoken of my thoughts to the Circle, withholding the part about the stranger, lest Skjor worry I will no longer seek his counsel. and I was not surprised to see them torn by it. Skura and Ayla are strong in the ways of the beast, and even seem to suggest that the hunted grounds would be their choice of afterlife, if it were truly a choice. Vilcus seemed most troubled. The boy is as fierce as a saber cat in battle, but his heart's fire burns too brightly at times. He felt deceived, and I don't blame him. Farkas didn't know what to think, but I believe he will come around with me and his brother eventually. He usually does. I don't know what to do about Skjor and Ayla. I know they respect the companions, and me, but they take to the blood more deeply than the rest of us. Fortune smiles upon us. Yesterday Vilcus was telling me how difficult it had been for him to give up his transformations. Until we can pursue a true cure, the twins and I have chosen not to give in to the beast blood. For me, it's provided a clearer head, but Vilcus seems to be suffering a bit for it. Farkas seems completely untroubled. That boy continues to amaze with his fortitude. While Vilcus was confiding, through the shadows of Jorvaskr I saw a newcomer approach, who wished to join our numbers. It was the stranger from my dream, the one who would stand with me against the beast. Vilcus began speaking obliquely, not wishing to air our problems in front of our guest, and I had to be doubly cautious to not reveal anything of our secrets to the newcomer, while also not revealing the details of my dream to Vilcus. I don't know how the politicians deal with these sorts of machinations daily. In any case, I've sent Vilcus to test the newcomer. We'll see if she is truly the great warrior I dreamt of. This newcomer, it seems, is made of decent stock. She called herself the Bookkeeper's Journey, and has already impressed some of the circle with her mettle. I still keep my own counsel on her place in my dream, for now. Let us see what kind of destiny she is carving before hitching to her. In the meanwhile, I look for ways of cleansing my blood. The writings and legends on the subject are sparse and contradictory. I don't wish to engage any wizardry on this matter, but I fear they may be the only ones who best know how to navigate these words of knowledge. It's apparent to me now that Terrafig's choice to turn us was indeed a mistake. Magics and their ilk are not in keeping with the spirit of the companions. We face our problems directly, without the need of such trickery. I can only hope to guide us back to the true path of Ysgramor before the rot takes me. The Bookkeeper's Journey continues to impress. I don't know yet where she will stand on the question of the blood, but the question has not been presented yet. She does know that we carry the beast blood, and appears curious about it. Soon enough, I can explain our troubles, and hopefully see what role she will play. I'm amazed that Ayla thinks she can keep a secret among this drunken rabble, especially with the loss of Skjor. My heart aches. Emotions are fraying, and the walls of discretion are the first to fall. Apparently she and the Bookkeeper's Journey are waging their own separate war against the Silver Hand, in retaliation for Skjor's death. Their hearts are noble, but the course of vengeance is running hot, and I fear the counterstroke that may come if they do not rein in their fury. The Bookkeeper's Journey shows valor, though even in this more underhanded time. We have not had cause to speak much, and that is something I deeply regret. I have high hopes for her destiny, as I realize that her appearance in my dream may indeed mark her as the harbinger to succeed me. I have received few dreams over the course of my life, but when they come, I have learned to trust them. I also learned to trust the instincts of my heart, which tells me that the Bookkeeper's Journey can carry the companion's legacy as truly as any residing in Jorvaskr, especially with the loss of Skjor. Ayla is too solitary, Vilcus too fiery, and Farkas too kind-hearted. Only the Bookkeeper's Journey stands as a true warrior who can keep a still mind amidst these burning hearts. I will not speak to her of any of this, though. It is too much to burden another with. My hope is that she and I can keep counsel over the coming years, that I can impart the wisdom of the harbingers. All things in time. Firstly, I will seek her assistance in the matter of the witches of Glenmoril. It would appear that our path to the cure is not without some poetic justice for the tricksters who first cursed us. Next, we will read Nords of Skyrim. Nords of Skyrim, my people, my pride. Respected reader, my name is Hrothmund Wolfhart. and I am a Nord. But, more importantly, I'm a Nord born and raised in the land of Skyrim. I write this volume in the desperate hope that the rest of Tamriel can come to know my people as they deserve to be known, and understand this province for what it truly is, a place of uncontested beauty and culture. Some of what you know is undoubtedly true. Physically, we Nords are an impressive, often imposing sight, tall of stature, strong of bone, and thick of muscle. Our hair is often fair and worn braided, as has been the custom for generations. Often we are swathed in the hides of beasts, for such creatures are abundant in Skyrim, and an available resource. Having read this far, you may be sure of a northern savage. Many Nords can both read and write in the way of letters when I was but a barn, and as did his father, and his father before him. Children of Skyrim are multitude, and go beyond mere wordcraft. For we are artisans as well, and through the ages have learned to manipulate steel the way a sculptor would clay. Indeed, I have seen with mine own eyes visitors from High Rock and Cyrodiil weep in disbelief as they beheld the blades wrought in the fires of the Skyforge, and honed to beautiful deadliness by the gods-touched hands of Clan Greymane. But how can this be true, you ask? How are such achievements possible from a people who have yet to emerge from the muck and snow? Again, provincial bias clouds the truth. The cities of Skyrim are a testament to Nord ingenuity and craftsmanship. Chief among them are Solitude, seat of the High King and capital of the province; Windhelm, ancient and honored, a jewel in the snow; Markarth, carved into the living rock itself in ages long since past; Riften, nestled in the golden shadows of the fall forest, whence comes delicious fish and meat; and Whiterun, built around the hall of Jorrvaskr, home of the most noble companions and revered Skyforge. And now, respected reader, you have the full measure of it. We Nords are everything you imagined, and so much more. But let not this work be your only gateway to the truth. Book passage on carriage or vessel, and make the journey north. See Skyrim with thine own eyes. See Skyrim as have the Nords since the gods first shaped the world. Okay, and now we are going to read the Book of the Dragonborn, which is, I believe, the very first book you get in the game. Okay. The Book of the Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Waynon Priori. Year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius the Fourth? That's 4, right? I think so. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the blessed Saint Alessia was given the Amulet of Kings, and the dragon fires in the temple of the one were first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed Saint Alessia with the blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alessia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavor to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra, loving Elades. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the first Cyrodiilic Empire, founded by Alessia, Rimmon, Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten by all but scholars, and those of us dedicated to the service of the blessed Talos. Who was Tiber Septim? Very few realize that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessing of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become emperor and light the dragon fires are surely dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we can say is that it is both and neither, a divine mystery. The line of Septimus have all been dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Cyrodiilic rulers were not all related. There was also no evidence that Rimmon Cyrodiil was descended from Alesia, though there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Rimmon and likely attempts to legitimize his rule. We know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in Akaviri crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. They appear to have been searching for a dragonborn. The events at Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Rimmon Cyrodiil as dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as emperor, although Rimmon himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course, the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are two or more potential dragonborn at any time. The current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this, although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Rimmon's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim. Many believe that the Blades continued to search out and guard those they believed were, or might be, dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days, being dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of dragonborn heroes who were great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of dragons they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion, and there was some evidence that this continued after they became Rimmon Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard. Again, the connection to dragons, the direct predecessor to the Blades of today. I leave you with what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. It often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Ankaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens had been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place at the 8 corners of the world, when the brass tower walks and time is reshaped, when the thrice-blessed fail and the red tower trembles, when the dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the world eater wakes, and the wheel turns upon the last dragonborn. And there we have it.
Yes, love.
Quiet, you. And then he just teleports away. Okay. Anyway, like I said, this is a playthrough where I'm focusing on collecting all of the books. I've currently collected a total of 231, but I've only posted, because I'm posting the books on my Tumblr, the Skyrimlibrary.tumblr. Let me see here. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far, I've posted 8 books on my Tumblr in case you want to go read them. It's 2920 Last Seed, Volume 8, Lords of Skyrim, A Dance in Fire, Chapter 4, Wendelius Gartharian's Journal, The Yellow Book of Riddles, Journal of Codlac Whitemane, Great Harbingers of the Companions, and 2920 Morning Star, Volume 1. So these are the books that I have posted already, and I'll go ahead and add these. Slowly filling up. And then these are all the books I've collected and have yet to read, have yet to post on my Tumblr, so we've got a ways to go, and there's still so many books I need to collect. So that brings an end to the first episode of the Skyrim Library. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!